National General Council ended yesterday with a few recommendations for the economy. It wants a closer working relationship with the private sector to create jobs, but it also has made it official policy that farm owners give half their equity to farm workers. Well, let's go through some of those policy recommendations now with Lesiba Mothata. He's the Chief Economist at Investment Solutions. Lesiba, thanks for coming in.
Good afternoon.
Now, ANC policy has very often been seen contradictory by business in particular. On the one hand, you do get strong talk that they want to attract investment into the country. But on the other hand, there's frequent messages that say, we've got to keep social equity at hand. We've got to protect national interests. What sense did you get in that regard after this council meeting?
Well, I get a sense that the ruling party is aware of the challenges that are happening and they're taking stock because growth is weak. There are studies that are independent to what has come out from the Congress, which suggest that agricultural production, along with its chain, can be a huge contributor to growth. That has been taken into account here. And I think it's a good process that they've engaged themselves into because they've taken stock. You see, when you're ill, the first thing you need to recognize that I'm not feeling well, I need to go to a doctor, an outcome that I read from what I've seen, from what came out of the ANC.
Do you think business is happy that there has been some talk of a stronger relationship between government and the public sector to embark on this job drive?
Yeah,
Is it convincing for you?
I've been in these discussions in the weekend, and it was noteworthy that there's a realization that 70% of this economy is in private hands. The private sector, has more levers to turn. There are more knobs, more opportunities to make sure that it all works. There is that realization. So this acrimonious relationship that is so prevalent between business, labor, along with the government, I think it's a central theme that is being addressed. It's a good thing. There are fruits also. Look in the renewable sector. The participation between the government and the business has yielded good fruit. In fact, South Africa is now seen as a world leader in terms of how you do PPPs in the energy sector, which is a beautiful outcome. Admittedly, it arrived because of a crisis. Normally around a crisis, people respond differently, an outcome that we find in South Africa because we have an energy crisis. But that model can be replicated in all other sectors, which can bear good fruit.
All right, let's talk about the perception of corruption. And one interesting recommendation is that of what they call lifestyle audits of state workers, and actually also rotating those state workers. And I would imagine the aim would be to sort of limit corruption. Was that convincing? How does that really work, in fact?
So if you think about what the Treasury had said before, they said they're going to manage this public spending. Because rating agencies are unhappy about the trajectory, etc. I think there's one other expression of what has been put down in order to make sure that we're not lavishly spending on transport, we're not lavishly spending on other activities that are not core to the business of government. It's a good thing and it needs to be monitored in a substantial way. The only test is will that audit be made public? Will we get to see exactly who is spending what and how it's going to work out? It's always an issue when it comes to the implementation of very good ideas. We're not short of good ideas in South Africa.
And hence I'm coming in with this point. The gap between the intent and the good idea for the National Development Plan, for example. The gap between the idea and the actual implementation. Any progress on that from this conference?
There's a whole commitment towards NNDP. It's the policy that's been implemented, which we need to give kudos to because it was unclear whether this is adopted or not. Now that's what we were going to work on. However, just the undertone from it all is that there's a resignation that we're in a low growth environment, particularly after the 2008 crisis. Since then, South Africa continues to underperform. That which has been it has been accepted. It has been outspoken by the authorities. Now, I need to see a little bit more on that front. We've got these 9-point plans. They all sound good. The ocean economy, we need to exploit that. The agricultural situation, beneficiation, there's a whole 9 points. What needs to happen adjacent to it is how much has that contribution arrived in rents and cents, and how many jobs have been created as a result, over what time frame? Because we have a 9-point plan which was implemented at the beginning of the year. Now we're at the end of the year, we don't know how far we are, and hopefully, you know, it will be clear. We need a column from those 9 points that actually tells me the rents and sets and the amount of jobs that have been created as a result.
All right, fair enough. Lesiba Mothata, Chief Economist at Investment Solutions. Thanks indeed for coming.
Thank you. Thank you.